Welcome to HFY Short Stories. Please subscribe to my channel. Your one click means the world to me. Folded hands. In the grand, silent theater of the cosmos, the most earth-shattering arrivals often choose the quietest stages. For Liam, that stage was his own front porch, the air humming with a strangeness that vibrated up from the very soil he tilled. The night was a held breath, stars burning with an unfamiliar intensity, when a low thrum blossomed into a brilliant blue glare on the horizon. Drawn by a force beyond common sense, he found it hovering over his fields, a vessel of liquid silver, pulsating with an inner light. From its seamless hull, a ramp descended, and on it stood a vision. She was tall, regal, with silver hair that floated as if in its own private gravity. Her skin was a pale, near-translucent hue, and her large violet eyes glowed with serene intelligence. She moved with a liquid grace that defied the familiar laws of motion. "Greetings, human," she said, her voice a melody shaped by command. "I am Rihanna, a diplomat from the planet Vora. I come in peace." Liam, frozen by the gravel path, could only process the impossible. You speak English?" A slight, curious tilt of her head. "Our technology allows for efficient replication of your languages. I am here to study your kind. Your species intrigues us, particularly your biological structures." Her analytical gaze drifted down his form, methodical and unnerving. "Your anatomy contains anomalies we do not fully understand." "Anomalies?" Liam managed. Rihanna stepped closer, her violet eyes narrowing with clinical focus. "For instance," she gestured vaguely, "that protrusion between your legs. What is its purpose? Is it a weapon? A protective measure?" Liam's jaw went slack, heat flooding his face. "You mean my—" "Yes," she interrupted, nodding with scholarly gravity. "It appears significant, but our data is insufficient regarding its function. I require clarification." "Whoa, hold on," he stammered, taking a step back. "That's personal." "You can't just ask about that. Why not?" she asked, genuinely perplexed. In the grand logical dance of the universe, she had stumbled upon the messy, unwritten rules of one small planet. On Vora, such inquiries are standard in the pursuit of knowledge. "Well, Earth doesn't work like that," he insisted. "That's private." "Private," she repeated, tasting the word. "Fascinating. Your species attaches emotional value to anatomical features." Her frustration was palpable. A scientist denied a crucial variable. Liam sighed, the absurdity of the moment washing over him. He was trying to explain social decorum to a star traveler. "Look, I don't think you'll get the answers you're looking for here." But she didn't retreat. Instead, her expression softened, the hard edge of science giving way to something else. "Liam, I am not here to intrude. I only seek understanding. Will you help me?" Her earnestness was a disarming gravity. Caught between profound discomfort and her guileless curiosity, he relented. "Fine," he said, rubbing the back of his neck. "But my way. No weird questions." "Got it?" A solemn nod. "Agreed." And so, an alien took up residence in his guest room. Her first days were a study in contrasts. She marveled at the quaintness of his home, the beauty of the atmosphere, and the remarkable flavor complexity of bacon and eggs. She followed him through his daily chores, her sharp mind cataloging everything with an intensity that was both exhausting and endearing. "These creatures," she said, crouching to study the chickens, "they provide sustenance, correct?" "Yeah, eggs mostly," Liam replied. "Sometimes meat. Do they not mind this arrangement?" The question caught him off guard. "It's funny, isn't it, how an outsider's view can make the mundane seem utterly alien?" "I don't think they think about it like that. They're just animals. On Vora, all creatures are equals," she murmured. "This concept of using others is foreign." As she trailed him from the irrigation system to the sagging barn door, her inquiries were relentless. Liam found himself explaining the purpose of a scarecrow, the feel of sweat on his brow, the simple logic of manual labor. "You're really thorough," he noted, wiping his forehead. "Understanding your world requires attention to detail," she replied. "Well, sometimes it's better to just experience things instead of analyzing them to death." She considered this. A curious perspective. "I will attempt to apply it," and she did. The next morning, Clad in a borrowed shirt and jeans that hung awkwardly on her slender frame, she announced her intention to assist. Liam chuckled, but he didn't refuse her. She wrinkled her nose at the pig slop. Her laughter rang out when a feisty hen pecked her hand, and her initial discomfort with milking a cow gave way to a focused curiosity. One afternoon, as Liam hammered nails into the barn door, she stopped him. "Your hands," she said, her gaze fixed on them. "They are strong yet delicate. They create and repair." She reached out hesitantly. "May I?" Her cool, smooth fingers brushed against his calloused palm. She turned his hand over, tracing its lines and scars with an intense focus. "These tell a story," she whispered, "of labor, of perseverance." "They are beautiful." A flush crept up his neck. "They're just hands." "To you, perhaps," she said softly. "But to me they are fascinating." In that moment, a shift occurred. The line between observer and participant began to blur. Her questions evolved, moving from the physical to the metaphysical. By the fire one night, she broached the topic that had lingered since her arrival. "The bond you spoke of," she began, her gaze steady. "This connection between humans. How does one initiate it?" Liam sighed, a weary smile on his face. "It's not something you can just explain. It's about trust, feelings, being open with someone." "Feelings," she repeated. "How does one identify them?" "They're different for everyone," he said, struggling for words. "But when you care about someone, when you want to be close to them, you just know." Her violet eyes searched his. "And do you feel this bond with anyone?" The question hung in the air, heavy and unspoken. "I don't know," he answered, his voice barely a whisper. "Maybe." The days melted into weeks. Rihanna's presence became a natural rhythm in his life. Her resilience, her unfiltered wonder, her gentle strength. They were qualities he found himself drawn to in ways he couldn't articulate. For her, Liam was a revelation. He was compassion, humor, and a quiet patience that allowed her to explore the messy, beautiful chaos of being human. One crisp autumn evening, they stood on a hill overlooking the farm, the stars blazing with a familiar clarity. "They are the same stars I knew on Vora," she said, her gaze fixed on the heavens. "Yet they appear different from here." "Guess it's all about perspective," Liam replied, moving closer. She turned to him, her expression thoughtful. "You have taught me much about perspective, Liam. About life. About feelings." Her voice softened. "About connection." Before he could speak, she raised a hand. "Let me," she said. "I believed my purpose was to understand other worlds for my people's benefit. Yet in knowing you, I see that life is more than duty. It is about the bonds we form. You have shown me this." "I didn't do anything special," he said quietly. "You opened your life to me," she insisted, stepping closer. "You allowed me to see your world not through technology, but through your eyes. That is special." He reached for her hand, their fingers intertwining. "Rihanna," he began, his voice trembling, "I don't want to lose you." A small, knowing smile graced her lips. "Liam, I came to Earth to learn. I thought my mission would end with data. But my journey was not about discovery. It was about finding something I didn't know I was missing." "What's that?" he breathed. She rested a hand against his chest. "You." The kiss was a tentative meeting of worlds, a collision of logic and emotion, starlight and soil. When they finally broke apart, her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "What now?" he asked, his forehead resting against hers. "Now," she said, a hint of mischief in her smile. "We create a new story. One for both our worlds to share," and they did. Rihanna's proposal to her council was groundbreaking. A collaboration between Earth and Vora founded not on technology, but on mutual understanding. Her passion was convincing. Life on the farm changed. Together, she and Liam became a bridge, proving to humans and Vorians alike that connection was not limited by difference, but enriched by it. One evening, watching the sunset from the porch that started it all, she leaned her head on his shoulder. "You once told me life is about the connections we make." "I understand now. It's about finding the one person who makes your world feel complete." Liam smiled, wrapping an arm around her. "And here I thought I was just some guy with a farm." She looked up at him, her violet eyes full of a universe of feeling. "To me," she said, "you are the universe.